Hi everyone, in this video I'll tell you 15 things about Blind Owl by Sadegh Hedayat, the most famous 20th century Iranian novel, and probably the most misunderstood novel too. These are my own observations and feelings, so it may not be the same as other readers. Let me first confess, it's dark, very dark, and perhaps the darkest story I've read. But I'd enjoy it. In this video I'll tell you why, but I'm not endorsing whether you should read it or not. Only you can decide. First, it's a short novella, only 160 pages or about 40,000 words in English. It was written in Farsi, the dominant language in Iran, Afghanistan and Tajikistan, but published in India while Sadegh Hedayat was in Mumbai studying Old Persian language. Second, it's also been associated with suicide. Why? The author gassed himself in Paris in 1951 at the age of 48 after years of despair. And also there's a superstition that some of its readers have also committed suicide. I don't know if it's true. It was banned in Iran and many people are too scared to read it. There might be some truth in it. Third, Sadegh Hedayat was a nationalist and some suggest that he was also quite racist towards Arabs. He blamed Arab Muslims for the fall of the Iranian or Persian civilization. He also blamed the Mongols who destroyed Iran in the 13th century. He was part of a movement that wanted to return to the good old days of pre-Mongol, pre-Islamic Iran. This story is set in Ray, a magnificent city that was annihilated by the Mongols. The narrator's mother was Indian, perhaps an attempt to link the Aryan races of Iran and India. Fourth, opium is prominent in this story, something the author was apparently addicted to as well. It creates a different reality, a new way of seeing things, new lenses, new perspective. For example, the woman ends up in his bedroom, he brings some wine, but he realizes she's dead. He sleeps with her to revive her with his own body heat. Then he decides to draw her, finally completing a drawing after many failed attempts. Then an old man who laughs a lot when his shoulder is shaking helps him bury her in a ditch inside a suitcase in a remote cemetery, which is like traveling back in time, back to the days of the pre-Mongol, pre-Arab civilization. Fifth, the writing is beautiful, effortless, flowing, and dreamlike. His description is so vivid and the storytelling so powerful that draw you in to read more. I think the reason it's become such a powerful book has to do with the way the words are weaved together to create a really profound reading experience. It grabs you, especially the beginning. Sixth, two characters dominate the story. The narrator is a painter who is tormented by a pair of black eyes. Those eyes become the other main character in the story. Perhaps one could say that it's a society that watches him, the people around him. He has to kill the person attached to those eyes to free himself. Like in Edgar Allan Poe's stories, the eyes are the most beautiful as well as the most terrifying part of a human body. Also in Jean-Paul Sartre's word that hell is other people. In this book, it's the other people's eyes that watch and terrify the narrator. He's never free from those watchful black eyes. Seventh, shame is central in this novel and repeated a lot. Perhaps he was ashamed of his own culture compared to the French culture. Sadegh Hedayat went to a French school and French university and lived in France and committed suicide in Paris. Therefore, he was aware of historical Persian empire that ruled most of the known world, yet now Iran seemed like a very small and insignificant pawn in the 20th century European civilization. In this story too, his wife sleeps with other men, but not him. Perhaps he's sexually impotent. In the last scene, he's having sex with her while pretending to be one of her regular customers, but somehow inserts a knife into her, suggesting that he was unable to perform a proper sexual act, therefore ends up killing her. 8. Your subconscious past includes your people's past. The narrator alludes to the history and people of Iran of 1,000 years ago. A central scene is when he paints the murdered woman many times and only manages to get her right after many failed attempts, but later discovers that someone else 1,000 years ago had painted the very same thing on an ancient jar. Most fictions focus on the character's actual past, the day they were born and immediate family's past, but here the whole country or civilization's past plays a major role in the story. I found this incredibly eye-opening. Individuality loses its meaning. You carry the historical baggage of those who come before you, the positives as well as the negatives. Perhaps white privileges, which is talked a lot about in the West these days, something tangible and real after all. Those old legacies stay in you whether you are aware or not. Ninth, death and life are inseparable, like two conjoined twins. The moment you're born, your death is born with you. It follows you everywhere you go. When time comes, it liberates you. That's according to this story. Life is a sentence, and death frees you from that sentence. We can understand Hidayat's feeling as he tried to commit suicide once before. Death is very prominent in the story. It's another character in the story. 10th, death comes before life. In Zoroastrianism, the religion of Iran before Islam, there are two gods, Ahura Mazda, the wisdom god, and Ahriman, the god of deceit. Apparently, when these two gods were born, Ahriman came first. In this novel, it appears that the narrator's death existed before his own life. I found this a new way of looking at life. It might have connection with Buddhism, as Hidayat was drawn to Indian religion, so much so that he was a vegetarian and spent years in India. 11th, I had a vague feeling that this book was actually written by a dead person. The narrator says that before he dies, he wants to write his story, like Marcel Proust, before he started writing In Search of Lost Time. He doesn't know who he is, whether 1,000 years old or 2 days old. He suddenly finds himself to be this old man. He repeatedly says that his room is a coffin. Wherever he goes, worms and bees follow him as if he is a carcass. Here's a quote, "I'm afraid of dying tomorrow, yet still, without knowing myself, I want to introduce myself to my shadow. That's why I write." So the shadow itself is sort of death that actually hangs over him wherever he goes. 12th, death is a liberating force in the story. Life imprisons him and death frees him. Also the idea that you cannot escape death, so why avoid thinking about it? Don't be a baby. It conveys a message that you should really accept death and its presence all the time. Enjoy your life as a result. Only death is true, he tells us. Death rescues him from the lies of life. Life allows us to play different roles, perhaps none of them is your true self, while death reveals your true identity, no longer able to rationalize your acts. In the final scene, he kills her when she bites his lip at the end. He wants to end the copulation, but he cannot disentangle himself and uses a knife to stop her, to free himself, so he has to kill. 13th, time is not a good measure of progress. Terrible life is possible at any time in history. 20th century Iran is worse place to be than 1,000 or 2,000 years ago. Pre-Islamic Iran was a better place to live than the current Iran. Iranian culture has gone backward, so to speak. At one point, the narrator tells us that for me, something that happened yesterday might be more ancient or less effectual than an event that took place 1,000 years ago. Linearity of time is not important. 14th, characters are recycled like a low-budget movie that hires 5 people to play 15 characters. The uncle becomes the gravedigger. The wife becomes a muse of his painting, a whore, and an angel. The narrator is a painter and a confessor of a murder. His childhood, wife, and nanny uncle are all related. His mother in India, his wife, his sister. Hidayat openly uses each person to play different characters, which is perhaps honest of him about his process of fictional creation. 15th, reading it is an experience. It's like you enter the mind of an opium addict, a romantic painter, a murderer, a dying man, or even a dead man, all the same person. It might give you a nightmare, but it's like a nightmare that you wake up and you realize that life is for living. You want to enjoy while it lasts. Despite being a very dark novel, it's a life-affirming to me. After finishing, you feel you woke up from a bad dream and perhaps it's time you appreciate life more. For me, that was the most profound feeling I got. It's a horror-filled story. It's not as morbid as I thought. The myth of suicide-inducing power of this novella is perhaps exaggerated. My overall feeling, the beginning is really interesting, that draws you in. In the middle, you feel a bit lost. In the ending, that brings it all together. The voice is comic, dreamy, intoxicated, and also tragic. We think of death as distant, unpleasant, ugly, but reading it feels it's not that bad. I shouldn't worry too much. Some people might misinterpret this feeling as suicidal, and not true. It portrays death as something very mundane, natural, and almost beautiful that you should acknowledge and even celebrate. But it doesn't create the feeling, that I want to die. It liberates you from the fear of death, but doesn't encourage you to die. It tells you you have nothing you can do except laugh at it. That's the terrifying laughter of death that runs throughout the story, is a constant reminder that death is right there somewhere and you might as well enjoy your life. Okay, let me know what you think. Thank you for watching.